Welcome, love. This is Sex, Drugs, and Sound Bowls, and I'm Jessie Siren, here to stir the cauldron with raw psycho-spiritual talks on healing, plant medicine, sex, motherhood, and the sacred chaos that cracks us open and lights the way forward. Expect deep truth and raw feels that leave you inspired, held in your humanness, and ready to take your rightful place as the creator of your own experience. With a deep breath and an open heart, let's be all the way here now. Hello and welcome back to Sex, Drugs, and Sound Bowls. I'm your host, Jessie Siren. As always, reporting live, mid-process, mid-chrysalis, mid-mush. And today, I'm wearing my red, feeling a little spicy. Let's talk about sex, baby. We are gonna dive into something a little bit spicy. And I don't even know if it's gonna make it out to you, honestly, because when I record these things that feel a little bit more intimate, I always record authentically from flow, and then I'll share it with Matt and say, what do you think? Is this too much? Is this just for us? And he'll either give the pass, the nay, or the yay. So this has been stewing, all right? I have had this playing out in the back of my mind for many, many months. It affected me so deeply. Something that Matt said. I had been Jedi mind tricked into seeing him as this like sexy god. I'm like, how did you do that? How did you flip it around? So we're gonna dive into it today, and I'm gonna riff, and it's gonna be a little meandering and messy, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, your feelings, if you know what I'm talking about, like just the fucking amen. So it all started around May 11th, my birthday. And we had gone out to dinner with another friend couple, and I dressed up in my finery and was just feeling so good and alive. Had a little drink with a friend. We parked like a half hour away, so the boys went and got the car, and me and my girlfriend are sitting and having our drinks, and the waiter is so cute, and I'm kind of flirting, just, you know, playfully, and at the end of the night, give him a little wink, and as we're leaving the restaurant, and when Matt picks me up, I'm just like, I may have flirted a little bit with that waiter. And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, God, do you ever think that, like, you know, after a decade, like, and looking at the rest of your life, that you're never gonna just have like a random makeout session with a waiter in a hallway again? Do you ever think that? And he's like, no, do you? And I'm like, yeah. Somewhat of a kissing slut in my younger years. I just love the excitement of it. So he says, and the backstory to this, before I tell you what he says, is that we've spent a long time at building up trust, but because he's so physical, and it's been so challenging for me to unravel and gift that part of myself, that wild, sensuous part of myself, to him, right? Because he is who he is, and because I am who I am, it's always kind of been like a breach in physical intimacy is like a deal breaker in our relationship. Like that's the worst thing I could do to him, right? Is to betray him intimately, physically. And I kind of kindred, like he doesn't talk a lot. So if I found out that he was like, you know, sharing all of his deepest heart sentiments and thoughts and desires with another person, that would probably stab me in the heart, you know? So that's always been the deal breaker. So we're sitting in the car and we're driving, and I say, yeah, like I do think about that sometimes, just teasingly, you know, and looking out the window. And he's just like, well, as he's driving, he's like, if you want to go make out with a random waiter, go for it. And I like look at him, I'm like, what? Like, really? He's like, yeah, sure. And immediately I was just like, I don't want to make out with a random, saliva, I don't want to make out with somebody random. I want to make out with you. It just turned me 100% towards him. And oh God, this is just like, right, this is not a how-to. This is not like a, you know, following our footsteps and like, you know, heal your relationship. But because I am who I am someone who, the tighter you hold on, the more I feel like I gotta get out, you know. Even if he like walks up to me in the hall and he's being playful and sexy, but there's no way out and I can't back up, I'll immediately go into fight or flight mode. Like I'm ready to fucking, you know, get out of there. So this like open-handedness, right? Go ahead, go for it. I was like immediately like, it let all of these superficial wonderings like, am I here because I am loyal? Am I here because I'm afraid to hurt somebody? Am I here because it's marriage and monogamy? Am I here? It let all that fall away, and all of a sudden I was like, I'm here because I fucking want you. And there was something also that, like, right, this is months of stewing. I'm also like enchanted with him all of a sudden. And there's like this sexy, it's like exuding this energy of sexiness that I can't quite put my finger on. I'm like, how did that happen? How did you turn my fantasy, my little kink around of me wanting to make out with somebody else? And how did you turn it around? And now all I can think about is you. And it's a level of like, of confidence that he was exuding, like, and trust. Like, I was like, he fucking trusts me. Like, I could go make out with somebody else and come back, and then he trusts. He's like, I know you'll come back to me. I'm that good, baby. I was like, yes, you are, and yes, I will, and I'm not going anywhere. So this is the nectar of life. This is the stuff I live for. It's the kind of stuff you can't get from reading a book, right? It's the kind of stuff you can't even get in fucking talk therapy. It's like living the way of the journey. Something deep within him must know me well enough to know that the more open-handed that he is, the more grateful, the more expansive, the more sure I become that I'm choosing this. And the more, I was talking to a friend today, my dear friend Steven, and we were talking about the Trojan War and how the Trojan horse, he was saying that the Trojan horse signified the dawn of the Dark Ages because it was the first time that somebody had broken the contract of a gift, of a peace offering, being a disguise for war. And at a time when your word was your bond, this was cataclysmic, right? It broke something so deep, so sacred that man had relied on for so long that the theory is that it literally spawned the Dark Ages that followed. And when he was sharing that, I was reflecting on this dance with Matt and how the more open-handed he is with me, so the beginning of our relationship, we dated for about a year, and then I broke up with him because so many things, trauma, and I thought I'm never gonna see him again. I just cut myself off from that part of me, but it was really devastating for him and his sweet, tender heart. And it was actually out of Vipassana, 11-day Vipassana, that I, sitting with myself silently for 11 days, tuned into the energy that he was. Just felt like the resonant frequency of Matt in my body and my heart. And I just knew that's what brought me back to him. I just knew that he was for me. But because I had broken up with him, and it was a breach of trust, right? Like I had said, I love you, and he had assumed, and I had thought, I'll love you for forever. But I left so quickly, and there was a breach of trust. And there was a time period where he held on a little bit tighter, and I kind of rebelled against that, right? Like I wouldn't let him know. I mean, I didn't know consciously. Hindsight is 360. But I might not look at my phone, if he texted me or called me when I was out, or I might, go to yoga and then not come home till midnight because I, stayed at the studio and played around or got a cup of tea with a friend. And he would get upset or not sleep, or, there would be an energy of like possession about him. But through this sacred dance that we do, right? The healing that only time and the wisdom of experience can potentiate. There's been more trust and little gives, and two of my very closest friends are men now, and I do music with them, which means I'm spending a lot of time one-on-one doing music with Conrad or with Steven. And he never utters a word of jealousy. And he's never like, oh, you'd rather be going to do music with Steven tonight than hanging out with me, blah, blah, blah. I feel so seen and loved in that, because the opposite, like, he celebrates me. He notices how lit up and how fulfilled I am from these experiences. And he actually, on days when I'm feeling like, oh, I don't want to go, I'm tired, I miss you, I love you, he's like, go do this thing, you're gonna feel so much better after. He fucking pushes me in that direction. And so this moment, right, in the car, go ahead if you want to, if you feel like you got this weird urge to make out with a waiter, a random waiter, go for it. Felt like the cherry on top. I felt like it was just like the ultimate freedom from any conceptions that I had of being trapped or held or owned, or any lack of freedom I was perceiving. And I all of a sudden just felt as free as a fucking butterfly. And there's something to be said, right? Just like how cataclysmic it was for the Trojans to take a peace offering and turn it into a artifact of war, of mass destruction. For me to take this beautiful thing, this trust that Matt has given me, I know there's something inside of me that knows it would be the literal dark ages of my life, of my soul, to do anything to breach that trust. It turns me on, it lights me up in a way where I'm like, I want to fucking give that back 100 times to you. How can I give it back to you? And it's so crazy. We've been together almost 13 years and it feels like brand new. It feels like brand new because just more and more layers keep getting peeled back. More and more ways we find ourselves doing this dance of like softening and opening and learning to love each other better. And it feels so good. And I want to say too, like, in the first 5 years of our marriage, I think we were separated 3 times, and for months at a time, like living in separate houses, because we were so ingrained in and we called them healing separations. They were never with the intention to get divorced or to experiment with other people, but we found ourselves looping in the vortex of such strong energetic patterning. We couldn't break out of it, waking up and seeing each other and like just doing the same thing every day. And so we did have these periods of separation. And they were very useful for our marriage. And there were also periods of time where I was just like, fuck, it's so boring. The same thing every day, same person every day. But I come back to the wisdom again and again of this beautiful young lady. Where were we? I'm on the Ave in the U District, and I'm walking down the road and a bird poops on my head. And so I walk into the first store and I'm just like, do you have any thing, like a napkin, a bird just, and she was like, oh my God, let me help you, honey. And she gets some Purell and gets some paper towels and she's cleaning up my head. And somehow or another, we get to her saying, we keep our people in bell jars. We see them as stars, as they were and never as they are. And oh my God, I mean, it's been 20 years and that is still reverberating out through my being. I don't want to keep my people in bell jars. I want to wake up next to Matt every morning, look over and say, I wonder who you are today. I want to recognize in every moment that this man in front of me is not the same man that I said I do to a decade ago, and say I do again in every single moment. And the more I metabolize, I chew this up, I assimilate this knowing, right? That we are never the same from moment to moment. The more curious I get, and the more curious I get, the more I invite this opening, this softening in him and in myself. And the more delighted I am, God. And there's so many different ways, and there's no way to judge somebody else's experience. I have some friends that are polyamorous, and I say, like, that is the way to experience the one through the many. And I find myself over here with the love of my life, experiencing the many aspects of the one through one person, right? Oh, just layer after layer, peeling more and more back, finding more and more. I'm like, I can surrender even more. I can let go even more. I can be even more of myself and be loved more and more. I feel like I'm just like literally blossoming, taking up more and more space under, the blanket of his love. And I want to say too, this trust that has been built over time hasn't been built through perfection, right? It hasn't been built through never having a rift or a breach in trust between us. It's like we navigate those moments where I've been hurt or he's been hurt or he's betrayed a trust or I betrayed a trust. We navigate it by honoring there's been something that didn't feel good to you that's happened, and how can I do better? And then showing up better. And so the trust is built not through perfection, but literally through witnessing that someone is willing to meet you in the dance of life again and again and again, that someone is willing to choose being in relationship over being right again and again and again and again. So that waiter, he sure was cute, but he's got nothing on this fucking sexy, confident, lover boy man that I have had the privilege and honor of loving and being loved by for so many years now. And also, what freedom, how liberating it is to have a lover that you can just like speak your weird little kinks out loud to. And I wonder, like, how many times, because this is the thing too, if he would have said like, that is horrible, why would you even say that? Do you even love me? I would have, I'm stuffed it down. And then that desire, I know myself, I know I would have thought I wanted to make out with a waiter. I know it would have been like pushed down. It would have become spring-loaded. So I'm like, how many, weird kinks or, fantasies that turn into like addictions stem from being shoved down and not being able to. They say if you're not speaking it or writing it, you're carrying it. So if you're carrying it and pushing it down and not able to speak it freely and not with somebody who can witness you in the fullness of all of your sensuality, right? Your curiosity. Wow. Just curious cat. Remember, your story, your healing, they matter more than you know. And every act of self-love, no matter how small, carries echoes, ripples, a vibration, a frequency of authentic love. And that authentic love is an energy that cannot help but change everything and everyone it bumps up against. Love yourself, change the world. This podcast is here to share stories and spark curiosity, not to replace professional advice. Before diving into any psychedelics or practices we talk about here, check in with your own deep knowing, your healthcare provider, and know your local laws. Anchor in your own truth before reaching out for anything or anyone. That is the real power. And one more thing, I make this show just for you. If you're loving it, drop me a comment or review on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. Let me know I should keep showing up. Grateful to be here with you.